Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. No daylight yet, but maybe a storm. I may have to get up in a minute and go move some shirts off of that line, off of that area where they're drying. But it looks like the storm might be dispersing as it reaches us. Let's see. Anyway, this morning I'm finishing up coffee. I was watching the Wildcat, yeah. I was watching the replay of Wild Card Wednesday on Thomas Meadows 75 channel. I've had the Mosaic Promise that Jeremy was drinking. I liked it. Mine was fresh, though. I've had the Sweetwater IPA that Jean H. Pierre was drinking, and the Guinness 200 Anniversary Stout that John Anile was drinking. So those were good. The other ones, they're kind of obscure. That they must be obscure. That mean they're not good. I drank enough obscure beers, but the ones that Michael Komarov and Eric Fraunfelter were drinking, I've not had them. Then they talked about Brut IPAs, how dry they were. And Brut IPAs are fruity, okay, but they're dry like a lager, so it's kind of funny to watch that. But or to see that Brut IPA experience taking hold. But anyway, we have from 1972. I know the company is a lot older than that, or the company that originally was. It's owned by William Grant and Sons today. But here we have I have to check the radar. Here we have Gibson's Finest Rare. You know, these kind of terms they use, it's rare, you know, not really rare. I got this bottle for $9.99. This 1.75 milliliter bottle, 1,750 milliliters, $9.99. Pretty nice glass too. My friend David got the smaller bottle, the 750 for $5. And everybody's telling me online that's not the price. It's way more expensive than that. And I'm saying, yeah, but for whatever reason, down in Louisiana, there was some, maybe it was shipped incorrectly or something, and they just sold it off. I remember one time at a store, they got all these cases and cases, like 48 cases of Guinness beers. The 14.9 ounce cans. Well, that's a big storm coming. And but the person telling me this, he does lie sometimes. So whenever he tells me something, I just say, "Oh, okay," and I'm thinking, I can't trust what he's saying. But he claimed that the distributor was sent. They sent it to the wrong distributor or something, and it was going to cost too much to get for them to bring it. You know what I mean? Ship it back to them. So they just said, take it for some real low price, and then they were offered it at that particular store for really cheap. I tend to believe that story. Oh, there's a boat on the river honking its horn, blowing its horn. Wow, he's really riding on that horn. He's just bearing down on it. You never know if somebody's about to hit somebody else. We have crashes on the river, river boats crashing. One hit a bridge. Louisiana Highway 70 bridge, the Sunshine Bridge, was closed down for months. Anyway, so how about this storm, boy? I tend to believe that story because of the fact that they were selling those 6-packs, and these are tall cans of Guinness, another type of Guinness. Then they had a pale ale. It was 5 different British islands ales. Really nice stuff for $4.99 or $4.50, which is unusually low. So, but whatever the case, that's the same thing with Gibson's. that we're getting it unusually low. Now, what's the story? I don't know. I'm just surmising. I'm assuming, and I'm telling you the truth. I paid $9.99 plus tax for this 1,750 milliliter bottle. Now, I'm just making assumptions of why it's so cheap. We're going to go up against Seagram's VO. All right. If it's just a little rain, that won't matter. The VO Gold, no longer produced. Well, not exactly the case. It's still being processed out. They discontinued it in 2017, but it's an 8-year age. So they could have had some they would just put in the barrel in 2017. So this thing could maybe go on the market till 2025. You know what I mean? I'll still see it in stores. There might be a tremendous backstock, because when I contacted the company, which was Diageo, now it's Sazerac, 2 years ago, I said, well, why you don't list it on your website? And they told me, well, it's been discontinued. And I said, oh, okay. So introduced in 1998, discontinued in 2017. This I know. Now, Gibson's is an old company that started in the United States, I think in Pennsylvania, and then they had prohibition, so the guy fled to Canada to keep producing whiskey, and then it got bought out, as usual. It might have been Hiram Walker or somebody, and then they started making it again later as a Canadian whiskey using that name, Gibson's, in 1972, 12-year aged. Says right there on the insignia, age 12 years. And that little thing up there. Nice label. This is the new label. It's a little smarter looking label. If you look on William Grant and Sons website, they're showing the old label though. They're both 80 proof, 40% alcohol. So got a 12-year versus an 8-year. Whiskey made the honored way, aged for smoothness and richer taste. Well, I liked it. I didn't get to check any of the scores. I was up late because of the baseball game last night. I went to one. Then I came back and was watching the Cubs do terrible again, losing to Atlanta. And so they were saying, this team has no kind of relief pitching. They always have a lead, and then these guys come in and they get bombed. So I have to, you know, I want to go through all the highlights, MLB. ESPN shows highlights, but they're so quick. They're like, oh, this is what happened in LA last night. They beat the Giants. And then you barely can process it. And then they go on. Then they say, now let's go on to some comedy thing, some silliness, some glib remark. I'm like, well, this is not a sports center. This is more like, you know, low grade entertainment center with some sports thrown in, the way I see it. So I can't really take it. So I wasted some time looking at that. I'm going to get on MLB.com, watch good highlights. They'll take a long time, an hour or so, but it'll be worth it, I think. Okay. Yikes, the rain. Okay. It's Gibson's. It has a cork. Real cork too, not that plasticized, rubberized, rubber, whatever it is. Although somebody told me those are better because they don't dry rot. They don't look as nice, but maybe they're better. I don't know. I'm not an anti-technology person, okay? I don't fear technology. No, I didn't say I trusted companies, big corporations. But on the other hand, I'm not like some of these people that trust the government, you know. Oh, you've got to trust the government. Give the government all the power. They can be trusted. What are companies made up of? People, right? Just people. Maybe it's greedy people. Who do you think makes up the government? People. Probably even more greedy and less capable, but they're ambitious. You know, they want power. And maybe they couldn't make it in the private world. Maybe they could. I don't know. But they get elected and they get in power. And then I don't know why people can't see these demagogues. These people say they pander to you. They pandering to you, telling you what you want to hear. And then you're saying, if we could just give them all the power over us, we'd have freedom, equality, happiness. Oh, why are you so deluded? Oh, so very deluded. Okay. But you're going to tell me, yeah, but it's democratic. The people elected. That's better. You say, well, he was beaten to death by a dictator's thugs. The dictator's thugs, the Tonton Macoutes beat him to death. But that lady over there, she was beaten to death by a Democratic mob. See, she felt better getting beaten to death by the Democratic mob because they voted for that. You see, now that's an interesting point. Okay. Oh, boy. So they're both golden, but this one's darker, and I think that's the Gibsons, but I've already mixed them up and I've lost track. Good thing. It's good to lose track when you're doing these taste challenges because you don't want to influence the choice. I think that it'll be a tie. Now, Seagram's VO Gold is about $22 a bottle, 22 to 25 for $7.50. Gibson's, well, I got it for $9.99. That's not the normal price. So you're looking for that for a $7.50 of Gibson's. You're looking at about the same price, about 25 bucks, 22, 25. It'll vary, but it doesn't vary too much if you look at the online websites or the liquor store. So it's even on price. These two, not even on aging. Though we got a 12-year versus 8. They both emphasize Canada, 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 all up and down the bottle label, right? It's like, okay, we see that. Canada. You say, well, that's just how Canadians are. Now, somebody else might say, that's a stereotype. I don't know if it's, well, it is a stereotype, and it's accurate, because I don't know why I say I don't know. I have somebody I work with. She's from Canada. What does she talk about all day long? Canada. She lives in Louisiana for the last going on 20 years. I look at her Facebook page. Canada this, Canada that, everything about Canada. Does that bother me? No, it doesn't bother me. I take note of it. That's just, okay. You say, well, they just very proud of their country. They love to talk about their country. They just in love with their country. Apparently so. And look at their labels. Canada this, Canada that. And then, you know, the Jean-Pierre, he's the one. Jean-Pierre, you're the one that got that interesting story from yesterday posted about E&J Gallo basically buying Constellation Brands. What'd they buy? 38 brands and all their production facilities. I don't know what's happening with Constellation Brands. But hey, but that's the way it goes sometimes. We said that. Constellation Brands went around buying everybody out. Then they go out and get bought out. They still control their beer and some liquor. But it's like, wham. Maybe Marvin Sands is getting so old. Maybe he doesn't trust his children and grandchildren to keep the company going without being destroyed. So he figures, let's cash out and get out, or start bringing it down. We'll sell the vast majority of the company, and then we'll sell off the rest. And then I can go on my way, because it's an extraordinary buyout, $1.7 billion. But now Richard's Wild Irish Rose, not Marvin Sands, he died. Richard Sands, I mean his son, Richard Sands, the second guy to run the company, the son. So now Richard's Wild Irish Rose will no longer be owned by Richard, because Richard Sands is what Wild Irish Rose was named after. You say, but they're going to rename it Ernest and Julio Gallo Wild Irish Rose. That would be something, huh? E&J Wild Irish Rose. And they bought their Paul Masson brands, the whole thing. I said, whoa, what a buyout. This smells sweet. It smells sugary. It smells like whiskey, you know, alcohol, booze. A lot of rye. Whoa. Must be Seagram's. VO Gold. This one is a lot duller in the nose, but see, I don't know that. I don't know yet. Wow, there's some rye notes. A lot of rye. I might do a second Canadian Taste Challenge today for technical reasons. True story. I might have to bump some things around it because I forgot to do Canadian Hunter when I was doing my lineup. I wanted to do Gibson's versus all the Sazerac brands. Then I was looking in the cabinet. I was like, oh, golly, you forgot Canadian Hunter, dumb. It wasn't dumb. It was just an oversight. A little sweet and sourdough here. Is the aroma very, very different? Not extraordinarily different. This could just be a tie. Tie in price, tie in appearance, tie in nose, tie in flavor, and just a difference in age, 12 versus 8. Will I be trouble if it's a tie? No, I won't even care. They both seem nice to me. I mean, for $22 a bottle, heck, go buy it. And in my case, $9.99 for the 1,750 milliliter. What a benefit that was. Okay. Last month, my friend David, before Lent started, he said he tried the Gibson's Finest that he had. He liked it. This is sweet, but there's a very large undertaste of grain alcohol. There's a top side of rye, malt whiskey, and maybe flavorings from other spirits, but like rum, brandy, bourbon, whatever. But that's all melded together. Now, some viewers might say, but that's what Canadian whiskey is. It's just like 80% grain whiskey, and then you get these other things. I know it's a blend. That's why they all say Canadian whiskey, a blend, or blended Canadian whiskey. That's just the style. So not too much of it is single malt, but probably why most of it is inexpensive. Now, see, this one over here is not as garish like with the grain alcohol. And it has some fruitiness, like almost like plums or some kind of citrus, like a plum, something. Seems a little smoother. Oh, maybe this one is the Seagram's, because I remember the Seagram's was smooth all across the. And I had a little contention with the Gibsons, and some people on Facebook on Alcohol Eggs were saying, you know, that's crazy talk. How could you just give it a B+? You know, that's a great whiskey and all of this. And I was like, well, I have to score it as I see it. I can't score it as other people want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Then it's dishonest. Like, oh, if everybody's saying it's an A, I better do it A so I'll fit in. No, I can't. I don't want to do that. There's a sugary flavoring now. There's a fairly pronounced rye note, like a spiciness. There's that kind of sharp underneath body of the grain alcohol, though. It's got a little bit of harshness, and I think that's the Gibson's. I think. I don't know. I think so. I think it is. Lightning. And I think this is the Seagram's. Now, which one's better? Well, I think I have to go with the Seagram's Gold, VO Gold. First of all, the Seagram's VO gave the Gibsons a run for its money, and Seagram's VO is a fairly good amount cheaper. And the Seagram's VO, just the VO, and the VO Gold is even smoother, that 8 years, as opposed to, I think it's probably, we don't know, but probably 6 years for Seagram's VO. I've had people tell me it's 6, it's 6. And I'm saying source. I need some source material. They don't have any. I mean, if I had it, I'd post it, right? I know the Gibson's is 12 years. It says it on the bottle. I know the Seagram's VO Gold is 8 years. It says it on the bottle. We call that an age statement. If it's not on the bottle, we call that no age statement. And then unless you get something official from the company, then it's subjection. You know, it's supposition. It's what you think, but it's not what you know, or that you can back up and prove. Okay. Have I been incorrect in the past making statements about beer, wine, and liquor? Yes. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I don't know why some people can't admit it if they're wrong. You know, it's pride, I guess. Was going to go walking, but I think it'll pass and I can go walking. I want to walk 1.5 miles today. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bitey, a little bit bitey, which some people like. I don't mind it, but it's a little less smooth. So I'm going to say that the one in my left hand is not as good as the one in my right. Might be to your left, but I think yeah, that's smoother. That's smoother. That's a better whiskey. I'm sorry, people. People ask me, are you left-handed or right-handed? Well, it depends. When I'm writing something with an ink pen, I'm left-handed. But if I'm using scissors, I use my right hand. I never could. One time when I was in like Sunday school or something, I was using my left hand to write. And so the teacher's like, well, we're doing these crafts. Here's left-handed scissors. And I was trying to use them. I said, how do you use this? So I just grabbed the regular scissors and started cutting. I can't use scissors, but except for my right hand. So, all right. All right. I'm going to say this is the Seagram's VO Gold, and it's better. And I would pay more for it. It's better. It's a clear-cut winner. S. Seagram's. Ha-ha. I'm starting to get a taste for this, Gibson's. I'm starting to learn. You see, it takes multiple tastings, I think. You know, now, if it's something like you say, well, I had George Stickle Tabasco, and well, yeah, I mean, it's got Tabasco in it. You're not going to get that mixed up with the other ones. But, yeah, this Gibson's, man, I don't know about this stuff. It's got a lot of wood and rye. You aged this 12 years and this is all you got? See, to me, it's underperforming. And it's $65 a big bottle in Canada. Would I pay that? I don't know. Canadian prices are outrageous to me. And Australia's worse. You say, well, that's Canada and Australia, New Zealand. They got to pay for all those free services. And I'm like, oh, okay. You heard me just now? They have to pay for all the free services. You can pay up front or underneath, but you're still going to pay. Remember, the government has no money. It's not a company. They have no money. They have zero money. The government of any country has no money. You say, well, where do they get it? From you and me, the citizens. That's where the money comes from. You say, oh, no, in China, the government owns all these properties, mines where they get lead and whatever. Yeah, well, they took it from somebody. Remember, in 1949, they start seizing all the property. I don't want to get onto a rant on that. Just look at the Bible. Look at King Solomon. all the money, all the taxes, high, high, high. Then 80% of the country revolted against him, and he lost his control of his son, lost control of the country because of his son was raised with that mentality, raised with the mentality of I can take what I want from the people and I'll squeeze everybody. But it didn't work out so well, did it? And look at the Bourbons in France. We have the divine right to squeeze, but they at least had some conscience because they were thinking our economy is out of control and our financial system is in collapse. But they never could figure out what to do with it. Like, how do we correct it? And they had people like Nick Hare, these financial advisors, these whiz kids, these magicians, almost they called them. Oh, Monsieur Nick Hare is going to come in and solve the problem. But no. This is how they want to solve their financial problem. Squeezing the people for more money. They never can. You ever notice these governments never can conceptualize the idea of cutting expenses? It never enters in their mind. Never. I don't care if it's King Solomon in Israel or Louis XVI and the Ancien regime, La France or Canada. You know, they never can understand about cutting expenses. But if you're a company and you have to make payroll and you have to balance you have to make a profit, you may have more control. You might say, well, you need to cut expenses. All right. Or if you're a private individual, right, like me and you have to make a budget. You have to control it. You can't just go take people's money. That's called stealing. It's called theft. You go to prison for that. Okay, so Gibson's is all right, but it's kind of failing in a way. It's kind of, it is underperforming so far. And I didn't think so. I thought 12-year age, it's going to really just destroy everything. But no, it hasn't. Am I upset? Why would I be upset? I paid $9.99 for this huge bottle. The Seagram's VO Gold is a clear winner. Clear winner. Jeremy Vincent says, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Jeremy. And I watched your Mosaic Promise last night. Sorry, the can was old. I had it out the bottle. Around here in Louisiana, it's here today, gone tomorrow. We'll get something. It's here. And you buy it. And then the next time you look, it's gone. You never see it again. And if you do see it, you wouldn't buy it because it's so old. So VO Gold, you may see this in your town. And I'm going to say this to you. VO Gold is not an underperformer. It is a performer, baby. This thing can go toe-to-toe with just about all of them. You say, well, that's Seagram's. You know, they know what they're doing. Yeah, well, Seagram's ain't even a real company anymore. It's been bought out by other people. But whatever the case, the name brand means something because this stuff is good. It does not break down. It holds its own. It tastes good. It is good. It looks good. And it's just good. And it's darker, too. I know they could add color. Gibson's. Hey, look, the early results are not positive. They're not disastrously bad. It's not like some epic fail. You know what I mean? It's not a flop. It's not a washout. But it's not living up to my expectations. I thought it was going to really just take care of business. But no, hadn't really. I'm even more excited about later today. Maybe I'll do it this morning. I have some time. I have to wash. I'm washing clothes, folding clothes. I have things to do. I have all these sports things to check. You might say, you're obsessed with sports. You got to watch every MLB highlight. Maybe I'm obsessed, but that's fine. Good. I'll watch them. That's a good obsession, right? I think. Is it? I don't know. I got a lot to think about. All right. Now, if Gibson Select later today goes into competition with Canadian Hunter, and let's be honest, that thing is $8.99 a bottle. You say, well, you got Gibsons for $9.99. I've already preached to you. That was an incredibly low price. That is like 70% cheaper than it should be. Okay, no way it should be $9.99 a bottle. I'm looking at the playback. Ain't no way that glass bottle should be $9.99. But you don't ask, you just buy it and get out the store. You know what I'm saying? It was not a misprice though, because I went there 2 months later. It's still $9.99 for the 3 or 4 bottles they have left. But if Canadian Hunter beats, and Canadian Hunter is not exactly a premier product. It's aged 3 whole years. Oh wow. If Canadian Hunter beats it, that's it. Gibson Select is a failure. And then, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go through all of the brands. I keep saying Gibson Select. What's up with that? Gibson's Finest. Gibson's. We used to have a variety store here called Gibson's. My mama used to call it a 5 and dime. I'm going to 5 and dime. I used to ask her, what does that mean, 5 and dime? Gibson's. Well, when Walmart came to town, that killed all those. They were kind of like a smaller Walmart, but I'm not attached to these brands. So if it loses, it loses. That's tough luck. Now, do I want to do a beer review later? Yes. I think I'm going to do Busch beer versus Schlitz or something like that. Busch beer versus Busch beer. That's hard to say. Busch beer versus Schlitz. That's a tongue twister. Busch. There's too many SCH. Busch beer versus Schlitz. Never thought that would be hard to say. All right. You say, no, it's the whiskey you drank. No. Jeremy says, good morning, Ron. Pyrotechniques says, cost of living just keeps going up. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but think of all the government benefits you're getting. You go sit in an office with some rude woman telling you, wait. Now, see, so you can fill out these forms. Nah, can't complain about that. Yeah, I got that from Missouri and stupidly didn't check the date. Don't feel bad because I bought so many beers where I didn't check the date. And I got burned so bad. Yes, our insurance at work just went up 10% more. No raises, though. Too bad. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, yeah. Seagram's VO Gold, it's not exceptional. Like when you drink it, you don't think, oh, this whiskey is so fabulous. But you don't think it's bad either, and it does pretty much whip Gibson's Finest behind. Sorry, William Grant and Sons, but I'm calling it like I'm seeing it. So that's it. All right, now, so it's been 30 minutes. So later today we could have, I'm not even going to try to say that again, that Anheuser-Busch beer versus that Pabst Blue Ribbon, that Pabst Brewing Company beer. All right, with the SCH thing. I'm not even going to try to pronounce those. And then, and I would be so shocked if Canadian Hunter can beat Gibson's. You say, you're favoring Canadian Hunter. You're favoring it. No, I'm not favoring it. I don't even care. I'm saying it's $8.99 a bottle. So if it can bust Gibson's chops, if it can punch Gibson's in the mouth, and that's aged 12 years, and this little lowly Canadian Hunter, I'm not talking about the Canadian Hunter rye, the rye. We can't really get the rye too much. I can get it, but it's not so commonly available. Talking about regular old run-of-the-mill Canadian Hunter, the guy with the parka and the rifle and the dogs. I can't conceive that it could win. In my mind, I'm saying there's no way it can win. If it does, I'll have to go lay in the corner of the house and think about things for hours. My whole life will be altered. Thanks for watching this video production.